this Unreal Engine 5 tutorial you will create a beach scene just like the one you see here up on screen, with an ocean, with a nice landscape and with some trees, so our guy can have the time of his life. Let's go. First we are going to create a new level. We don't need all of this junk, so we're going to start off fresh. In the content drawer I'm going to create a map for this. So right click, new folder, and let's name this one to maps. Then file, new level. You can choose any you like. I'm going to choose this from an empty level, starting fresh, hit create. Then let's save this already in the maps folder, and I'm going to name this beach map, for example, and hit save. Now it's pretty dark here, so let's light it up. Click window, environment light mixer, create a skylight, atmosphere, sky atmosphere, volumetric cloud and a height fog. Now isn't this already looking kinda neat? Now we need our landscape. So instead of selection mode, click landscape, and now we can see the suggested landscape. You can also make it bigger, look at the recommendations in the technical guide, and you can change it accordingly, because this will be more optimized and less prone to errors. Make also sure to enable edit layers, have this one checked to true, then hit create. Now you can sculpt. I'm going to hit Ctrl Z to go and do that one, because in my version I will use the Blueprint Landmass plugin. Right now I have none. So back here to selection, and I'm going to hit save. Because I need to enable this plugin, click edit, go to plugins, and then look for landmass. Make sure to tick the landmass. Yes, I'm sure I want to have this. And then you need to restart Unreal Engine in order to have this working. So click here and I see you there. After Unreal Engine is restarted, we go back here in this default map. So I'm going to go to edit, project settings, and then maps and modes. The editor startup map is right here, this one that I started with the template. I'm going to choose this beach map, because then every time I have to restart I am right where I need to be. So for now, click back maps and double click to open this one once more. So we have our plugin enabled. For that, go back to landscape and then blueprint, and right now you can see the brushes. And make sure you use the custom brush landmass. Make sure to click this one, and right now in our outliner, you can see when I click here somewhere, the landscape custom brush is created. So if I somehow misclick here somewhere, I can also go back here and then I can see that this is created. So you can see it generated this for me, and I can move those points around if I want to. I can click next to this, back on the brush, and then here on the white dots, for example, and I can move these spline points around. I can also create extra ones. So holding Alt on my keyboard, I can drag out and create new ones. But don't worry, you can also create more later on. This doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to create one more point, holding Alt, click, and I'm moving that point around. You can also rotate these points by moving this one around, for example. Okay, so this is great to start off with. So now I can have some settings right here. For example, the fall off. You can see this is very steep. I can click gap shape. And this is already different. The Z offset, let's set this is something like 2000. And you can see this is already back up on the ground, but I will have my water around here. So then I have this area to play on. Make sure you have this landscape custom brush selected. Okay, before I move on. So right now I can see this better, these spline points. So about here, I'm going to move these points a bit more around. So this one goes up here. Going to move this one here, for example. Now you can create your own shape, so go wild, my friends. And this, for example, right here. I need some room here for the waterfall off, for example. Okay, so now, still with this one selected, I can change the fall off angle. By the way, if it is a big landscape, improve the camera speed like this. And look at it from different size, from different views. Okay, so the fall off angle, I can move this even steeper, so 60. But maybe you want a smoother transition, so then something like 35 is something that I like to use. And then you can still mess around with these values. So let's see, if you use 3000, you see you have more of this effect. But I like 2000 better. So back to 2000 here. And then you can scroll down. This blurring may also be interesting to you. So the blurring size. Now, sometimes I exaggerate to see what it does. And then you can see at 10, this will be this effect. And at 50, it will more be like this. But it isn't meant to be this big of a value. So let's say something like 3. So you can see it captures more nicely. The curl noise, this will change how my landscape looks a lot. So let's change this to 2, for example, and then you will see what this happens. And then the curling tiling is set to 16. Now this is fine for me, but let's see if I change it to 32, I get something like this. Now the curls to strength, I usually don't mess with this, but let's see if I enable this one, you get some more variation. And especially when I set this to something like this, you get this. But I don't want the edge here, so maybe at 1, maybe at, let's see how 2 looks. Well, I think I liked 1 better. So you can see this is creating a map outline for us right here. And you can still, with this brush selected, you can still move those things around to see how it looks. So for me, this is fine. The curves, you can change a little bit with this, but I usually don't mess with this. The displacement, this is something I still mess with. So let's see what it does at 100. Didn't did a lot. So at 1000, you see this is a lot of variety right here. So maybe some value like 500 is better, so you don't have an all flat piece of terrain right here. Well, maybe 350 is fine for me. And then we can go to terracing. And you can see this creating more of variety right here, the value of 1. Now you can also remove the height right here or make it lower, and then you can go back to the terracing alpha, and then you can change those values. Maybe 3000 right here. Well, 4000 was okay. And these are the basic settings that you can get over. There is a lot more, but these are just the basics. And then back here in selection, I can right click and then play from here. And you can see your character walking around right here. Now, if you're not happy with how this looks for you, you can also go back to the landscape with the blueprint selected. Make sure to have the brush selected once again. And then you come back here. Maybe disable the displacement height, or just a little bit, like 50. And the terracing, maybe 3500 is enough. Go back to selection, hit play. Okay, I'm falling from the sky. And then you get this effect. So there are some options, I showed a lot to you, but just create your island. And then you can place your guy at the side right here, for example, play from here. Well, and if you like it, you keep it, and if you don't, you can change it, and you can create a landscape of your own. This is just an example. It's time to add some water to this bad boy. So I'm in selection mode, go to Edit, Plugins, and let's see if you have water enabled. So it is still experimental, so things may bug out, but lately it seems to work for me, so click here, hit yes, and once more you need to restart Unreal Engine. And if it is asked for you, hit Save Selected, so then it restarts. After it restarted, you may see some black spots right here, but don't worry, if you come closer it will be fixed, so it won't be in-game, just textures that need to compile. And right now you can add water to the game. So here on this plus icon, hover over all classes, and when you hover over here, you can type in with your keyboard water. You have different types of water that you can add. You can go wild here, but one we are going to use in this example is the water body ocean right here. Now drag this in the middle right here of your landscape and then let go and let the magic happen, and this will take a while to compile, so let it prepare the shaders. And then you can see you have an ocean around your island, but there are still some settings to go over to make sure that this is correct. Now if this somehow didn't work, maybe you have to save, restart Unreal Engine again, and then drag in the water once more. So you have the water body ocean right here, but you can see this is ugly like this. So what I'm going to do then, look here from the landscape water brush manager, and I'm going to look for effect height map. So I'm going to disable this one, and also I'm going to look for the fall off right here, but then I'm going to back here to click here on the water, so I have the water body ocean. Instead of fall off mode angle, I'm going to set it to width. Okay, now I can drag this landscape down and this water down. So with the water body ocean one selected, and now you see the landscape, and now I can drag it to how much landscape that I want to have. So for me, I think this looks good right here. And then you can see you have your water, so let's right click and play from here. Next on our list is coloring this in with beach sand. So click here, go to Quixel Bridge. Let's dock this one here. And make sure you're signed in. If you're not already signed in, click this icon right here on your profile and make sure to log in. Okay, let's look for sand, for example, beach sand. And then we're going to click here on surfaces. And you can see some sand that maybe you would like. Now, the one that I used before was the Thai beach sand, so I'm going to look for this one. It's the rippled sand, but you can choose any that you like. I already downloaded this before. This is 1K quality, 2K, 4K and 8K quality. So whatever you would like. I already downloaded the 2K quality, but you can increase it as much as you would like. Click here on the download button, and if it is downloaded, click here on the add button. And then you can see that this is added to your project. So with the landscape selected, you can see here the landscape material. So in my content drawer, go to content, and it created a folder mega scans. Because in here I have my rippled sand. So make sure this one is selected. Now you can drag it into, but if it is like this, I make sure this is selected. Then Ctrl space to move this down, and then click here on the use button, and my material will be applied to my landscape. So this is coming along pretty nicely, but you can see there are still some things that we need to fix. But right now I can play from here. I can have my beach and then my shiny sand, and the tiling needs to be fixed. So I'm going to click here on the landscape material, double click on this one. Then in tiling offset, I can open this one up, and what I need to change here is the tiling for X and Y. So it is set to a default value of 1. So let's set it to 0.1 here and 0.1 right here. You can see that this tiling is no longer this bad. And you can really see the trample sand right here. I like value of 0.1 or even 0.05. It will make things a little bit bigger. So let's see if my guy plays from here. Well, you see this is too big for this. So I liked 0.1 and 0.1. And you can click save for this one and let my guy play from here. Yeah, and this looks more realistic already. Okay. Now, the thing is still shiny, so we need to change this one, the specular. The base specular for Unreal is set to 0.5, but you can see this is shiny, so let's set it to 0.1 and see this fixes it. So, save, and right-click play from here. Well, and isn't this looking way better already? And my guy is ready to swim and take a plunge. Now I want some palm trees on my island, so in the Unreal Marketplace I'm going to look for tropical. Then you can buy some, but I'm going to filter on free. And there are some ones that you can use. You can also use the ones from Quixel Megascans right here, or you can just download them right here in the Quixel Bridge inside of your project. I'm going to use this one. It is free for now, but you can choose any other that you like. Tropical vegetation from these plants right here. Then you click the free button, and then you can add to a project. And then you find your project and add it to your project. It will download and it will be added to your project. It isn't that big, so let it wait for a bit. Back in Unreal Engine, you can see that the new map is added, PN Pandanus. Open this one up. You can check these different folders, but inside of meshes and then the Pandanus one, we have the big ones. And let's see the ones we are interested in. Maybe the big ones here at the end. Let's find a room to drop them in. And let's check them out. Now I dragged some three together, so let's move these apart. And right click play from here. So I can see, yeah, they can be a little bit bigger, but you can see you have some variety right there with the palm trees. Okay, so what you're going to do now, let's delete those. And we're going to go here to the foliage mode. So in the foliage mode, you have a paint density. Let's set this to 0.05. And let's drop the foliage in. Let's start with big plant number 5. And you can see, when I click paint, those are painted onto my landscape. Now, if you have a higher paint density, you can see they bunch up. So shift click to remove those. I liked 0.05 for this one. I can click here on this tree. You can change the paint intensity here. The radius, how far should trees be from each other? Let's set this at 400, so 4 meters between trees. Let's scale them up. I like them twice the size, and the maximum will be twice and a half. I'm not going to align them to the normal, because if I align them to the normal, let's go here to the slope. You can see they are angled towards the landscape, but trees always go up. Well, at least most do. So I'm going to keep this as here. And for collision, I'm going to set this to block all. I don't want my player to be able to run through this. And then let's go up again. You can have the brush size, and then you can hold, and you can click right here. And you can see I paint a bunch of trees. Now there's some variety, but there's a lot of the same trees. So let's add another one. So the big plant 06. Let's also drag this one up here. I need to put this like here. So right now I can drag this in. Make sure to have this one selected now. And let's also go to these settings. So maybe you want more or less of those. So let's say 80% of those. Also separated within this range from other ones. Scale of 2 and 2.5. Oh, by the way, the offset. I want my trees, I want a bit of the tree trunk to be in the ground. So half meter, so minus 50. And also for my second one. So these values were already set, so minus 50. So it's a little bit in the ground, starting in the ground, so you don't have the bottom of the tree trunk sticking out of the ground. Not aligning this to the normal ones. And I want to block the collision. And also, so for more variety, let's do the same for big plant 07. Drag this in, make sure this one is selected. Let's have a few of those. So 50%, same radius. Scaling, at least twice the size, to 2.5 points of the size. Let's stick it a little bit in the ground, so the trunk doesn't stick out. Don't align this to normal. And collision presets to block all. And right now when I paint, okay, you can see it's still pretty dense. So instead of changing all of those, instead of 0.05, I can set this to 0.02, for example. And now they are more spread out. Okay, now look at it from the character's perspective. It will be around here something. And I go under the map, you can see a little bit of the trees sticking out. This was the minus 50 value. So now you can paint your trees wherever you want on the map. Maybe increase the brush size. So let's say you want them here, all around your map, for example, like this. Now you take your time for these. I'm just doing this pretty fast. And let's drag in the player start. Where do I want my player to start? Maybe here at this beach. So go here to the plus icon. Then you look here. Type in player start. And you can drag in your player start. Hit F key to focus onto this. I will reduce my camera speed once again. The arrow, let's point him towards the trees right here. And now let's hit the play button. So behind us, we have our ocean. And then in front of us, we have a lush environment of palm trees, different palm trees. You can see they have collision. They are sticking in the ground instead of out of it. And I can discover my beach landscape the way I set it up like here. Then we can also optimize our landscape. But if you think this is way too much, you can go to foliage. You can increase or decrease the paint intensity and the brush. And you can, for example, shift click in the parts that you think are too lush of an environment. So shift click and then you can remove certain parts or just click to add them back again. This is all up to you. So let's optimize this. Let's go here into selection in the content drawer. These were the plants that we had. So right click, go to nanite and then enable nanite for the selected ones. Okay. Now the shaders will be prepared. What we're going to do now is open this one up. So I have these selected and hit enter on my keyboard. So let's do this again. And they will open up in separate tabs here. But I will also use preserve area. If you use nanite and you move out far, problems can happen with the leaves. So I want to preserve those leaves and the entire area. So Let's do this for all those. Then I hit save on all those. And then yes. And when you have saved those, you can exit those and then hit the yes button. And also make sure to save here. So then let's go to lit, nanite, and then triangles. You can see Unreal Engine will optimize this for performance. So when I'm close to an object, it will be better detailed. And when I'm far away from it, only a little bit shown. And this will be done automatically. So click here back on lit. So this will cost less frames per second. And you can see when I zoom in and out, the details will be added automatically. So this is the power of nanite. And also when I play back, the material here isn't glitchy. So they fixed it up in Unreal Engine 5.1. Okay, then let's add some other details like rocks, for example. So here, go back to Quixel Bridge. And you can look from rocks. I use the Thai triple sand, so let's look for Thai beach rock. You can add some to your project. So, for example, this one, but you can use any one that you like. Let's see for the quality. I already downloaded those. I didn't download the nanite quality. It's the highest quality and is already to nanite. So I think they are a lot of vertices, but the nanite, it doesn't matter that much. So, okay, these ones are downloaded. And let's look for one extra. So a big one, for example. And I click add to project after I downloaded those. They already downloaded it. So prepare textures and just wait for it a little bit. So you can then drag those into your game. Let's find my player start. So click here, player start, hit the F key and I go right to this. If you get this error of bad size, no, don't wait, drag it up, hit the end key, END on your keyboard and it should be fixed. And right now I can place my props around. Now you can do this manual with the bigger ones. So here, Megascans folder, it's in 3D assets. And you can have the rocks right here. Let it prepare the shaders of this one. And you can drag it into your scene. And because this is nanite, see, I can also show you, I can scale this up really big. Because of such high quality, I can make this really large if I want to. And the detail will be just fine. I can drag this more to the beach, wherever I like. And I can plug this into the sand. Maybe rotate this a bit. And I can place them wherever I want. Well, and it's a lot of fun, just go nuts with it. See? So it looks like this. And you can, I'm not going to do this for the entire road right here, but you can do it if you have time for that. And you can do the same here for the other rocks. So these are smaller. So hit F to zoom onto those, and they're small details. You can also scale those up. You can also add them to foliage. So open this one up, have this one selected. Open the foliage mode, the contour. By the way, if this is annoying in the way, you can also drag it down a bit and then you can drag this into here. Now, if your trees are selected, make sure to deselect them. So I only have the rock selected. And then the density, well, let's move them 1 meter from each other. The density right here. Set it to 0.1 because there are more rocks than trees inside of our level. We can also increase the density right here. Because if you affect this and you paint more trees, then the entire selection will be changed. So maybe it is better to do this here, but I'm already done with my trees, so this is fine for me. Let's make them bigger. Scale of 3 and 5. Between those ranges it will be scaled up. No Z offset, I use this for trees. These can be aligned to the normal, no problem. And no collision because I want my player to walk through them. Well, maybe if this is a bit bigger, maybe I want to block them. It's up to you. Okay, so then you can paint those in. And you can see these are painted onto my landscape. You can have a bunch of different ones. Hit selection, hit play. Okay, and see the size of this. Those shouldn't be, this shouldn't be no problem because my player can walk onto these. You can see this has no collision yet. So what you can do here, Ctrl E to open this one up. And if this has no collision, you can go here to collision. You can remove collision and then re-edit. You can add a simple capsule around it, or you can auto-convex this collision. Then here, hit apply. And a collision will be created for you. This should be no problem for this rock. But you can create them manually also, and then you can look here for collision. You can see the settings of the collision right here. Then hit save once you have your collision. And back in your project, when you have this one selected, you can look for collision like this. And it's set by default, or you can just block all if you want to block everything. Then hit play. And now my character is walking onto the rocks, and if the rocks are high, you can jump onto those and it will land accordingly. So this is already fixed. And then it's time to doll up your character, give him some cool shades. I created this one inside of Blender, you can create one of your own. Then let him play, let him have the time of his life. Go to the beach, grab some cocktails, enjoy yourself in the tree, walk onto the rocks because we can do that now. Walk between trees, jump between the trees. Or don't jump between those trees. We can jump between those trees, yeah. So have the time of your life, enjoy. Don't forget to grab the free Game Dev Toolkit in the description down below this video. You will get my free ebook on how to get better at game development, a free game design document to plan out your projects, and a free tutorial series where you create a platformer game from scratch. And those who are hungry for more, I offer a sneak peek and overview of my new premium course, The Unreal Vault, where you learn how to create beautiful levels, create a game from scratch to finish, and how to set up boss fights and create dragon fights with different attacks including fire breathing. So if this sounds like a good deal to you, I see you there. Click the link and grab your Game Dev Toolkit now while it's still free.